Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Nice and early Sunday morning once again as we get started with our third week of psychology, but this time we are 100% ending it, as well as we're going to be doing sociology, which should be a quick and easy subject. But we'll be able to get to that real soon. But first, let's do our plugging. You can watch these live on Twitch, as well as anything else I do on Twitch, basically every day at twitch.tv/DJ_funky_fresh. You can see, I'd say about 99% of everything I do posted on YouTube at some point at youtube.com/DJFunkyFreshGaming, as well as these podcasts are posted on both SoundCloud and Spotify. Just search for Funky Bunch at Sunday Brunch Podcast or DJ Funky Fresh. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, we've got 2 more psychology careers to look into, as well as there wasn't anything like what we have for psychology to go through for sociology, so this will be more open for questions today for everybody. So if you've had any burning questions or want to know anything about my opinions on things, just don't be afraid to ask. Or if you want me to look into something a bit more, we can do that on the podcast as well. So anyway, let's do that quick review on what psychology is, which is the study of mind and behavior. It encompasses the biological influences and social pressures and environmental factors that affect how people think, act, and feel. Getting a richer and deeper understanding of psychology can help people achieve insight into their own actions as well as a better understanding of people. And we'll quickly go over all the previous major branches of psychology as well, just so we have a nice little frame of reference for what we've done. So we've looked at abnormal psychology, behavioral psychology, biopsychology, clinical psychology, cognitive, comparative, counseling, cross-cultural, developmental, educational, experimental, forensic, health, industrial, organizational, personality, and school. All that we have left are social psychology and sports psychology. So we will jump right on into social psychology. So what is it that shapes our attitudes? Why are some people such great leaders? How does prejudice develop, and how can we overcome it? These are just a few of the big questions of interest in the field of social psychology. Social psychologists tackle issues that can have a significant impact on individual health and well-being, from understanding why bullying behavior and aggression takes place to analyzing why people fail to help individuals in need. So according to the psychologist Gordon Allport, social psychology is a discipline that uses scientific methods to understand and explain how the thoughts, feelings, and behavior of individuals are influenced by the actual, imagined, or implied the presence of other human beings. Essentially, social psychology is all about understanding how each person's individual behavior is influenced by the social environment in which that behavior takes place. People watching. Why does that person walk around and throw their trash on the ground? You know? Why does this person leave their shopping cart in the middle of the grocery parking lot, but this person puts it away? You know? What makes people do things? That type of deal. So, you probably already realize that other people can have a dramatic influence on the way you act and the choices you make. Social stigma. Consider how you might behave in a situation if you were all alone versus if there were other people in the room. The decisions you make and the behaviors you exhibit might depend on not only how many people are present, but exactly who you are around. For example, you're much more likely to behave differently when you're around a group of close friends than you are around a group of colleagues or supervisors from work. I'm a good example of that. Nobody at work is ever going to find out that I, stream, do YouTube, do podcasts, and just, act like this. I am a completely different person when I'm at work. But that's also because the norms and the stigma as well as the expectations are 100% different. But, whatever. Anyway, social psychology takes a wide range of social topics, including group behavior, social perception, leadership, nonverbal behavior, conformity, aggression, prejudice, just to name a few. It is important to note that social psychology is not just about looking at social influences. Social perception and social interaction are also vital to understanding social behavior. The way that we see other people and the way we think they see us can play a powerful role in a wide variety of actions and decisions. Just think for a moment about how you sometimes act differently in a public setting than you might if you were at home by yourself. At home, you might be loud and rambunctious, while in public, you might be much more subdued and reserved. Like me. I'm a quiet boy when we're out in public. But here, you can't shut me up. Why is this? Because the people around us shape our thoughts, feelings, moods, attitudes, and perceptions. The presence of other people can make a difference in the choices we make and the actions we take. While social psychology tends to be an academic field, the research that social psychologists perform can and does have a powerful influence on our understanding of various aspects of mental health and well-being. For example, research on conformity has contributed to our understanding of why teenagers sometimes go to such great lengths to fit in with their social group, sometimes to the detriment of their own health and wellness. As a result, psychologists are able to develop public health programs and treatment approaches aimed at helping teenagers resist potentially harmful behaviors such as smoking, drinking, and substance abuse. Let's see. How did people become interested in social psych? While Plato referred to the idea of the crowd mind and concepts such as social loafing and social facilitation were introduced in the late 1800s, it wasn't until after World War II that research on social psychology began in earnest. The horrors of the Holocaust led researchers to study the effects of social influence, conformity, and obedience. What could explain why so many people participated in such terrible and evil actions, social psychologists wondered. Were people only following orders and bowing to social pressure, or were there some other forces at work that led people to engage in such devastating actions? By investigating these questions, social psychologists were able to gain a greater understanding of the power of societal forces such as authority, compliance, and obedience. Stanley Milgram, a social psychologist, was able to demonstrate just how far people were willing to go to obey authority figures. In a series of now infamous experiments, Milgram and his colleagues ordered study participants to deliver what they believed was a potentially dangerous shock to another person. In reality, the shocks were not real, and the other individual was only pretending to be hurt by the electrical pulses, but a whopping 65% of those who took part in the study delivered a maximum level of shocks simply because an authority figure told them to do so. So we talked about that like a week or two ago. It's Milgram and the shock study on obedience. So, social psychology has continued to grow throughout the 20th century, inspiring research that has contributed to our understanding of social experience and behavior. Our social world makes up such a tremendous part of our lives, so it is no wonder that this topic is so fascinating to many. Let's see. How is social psychology different from other disciplines? It's important to differentiate social psychology from a few similar and related subjects. Social psychology is often confused with folk wisdom, personality psychology, and sociology. What makes social psychology different? Unlike folk wisdom, which relies on anecdotal observations and subjective interpretation, social psychology employs scientific methods in the empirical study of social phenomena. Researchers do not just make guesses or assumptions about how people behave, they devise and carry out experiments that help point out relationships between variables. While personality psych focuses on individual traits, characteristics, and thoughts, social psych is focused more on the situations that individuals are in. Social psychologists are interested in the impact that the social environment and group interactions have on attitudes and behaviors. Finally, it is important to distinguish between social psych and sociology. While there are many similarities between the two, sociology tends to look at social behavior and influences at a very broad-based level. Sociologists are interested in the institutions and cultures that influence how people behave. Psychologists instead focus on situational variables that affect those social behavior. While psychology and sociology both study similar topics, they are looking at these questions from different perspectives. Yeah, social psych. And finally, the last topic for psychology is sports psych. Oh, God. Excuse the yawn. It's coffee time. So I'm not very familiar with sports psych. So I don't have any interesting anecdotes or anything. So, according to Division 47 of the APA, the American Psychological Association, sports psychology encompasses a range of topics including motivation to persist and achieve, psychological considerations in sport injury and rehabilitation, counseling techniques with athletes, assessing talent, exercise adherence and well-being, self-perceptions related to achieving expertise in sport, youth sport, and performance enhancement and self-regulation techniques. While popular perception often presumes that sports psychology is only concerned with professional athletes, this specialty area includes a broad range of scientific, clinical, and applied topics involving sports and exercise. There are two key areas of interest in sports psych: understanding how psychology can be applied to improve motivation and performance, and understanding how sports and athletics can improve mental health and overall well-being. Sports psychologists may also choose to specialize in a particular area. Some examples of major specialties within this field include applied sports psychology, which focuses on teaching skills to enhance athletic performance such as goal setting and imagery. Clinical sports psychology involves combining mental training strategies from sports psych with psychotherapy to help clients who are experiencing mental health problems, including eating disorders and depression. And there is academic sports psychologists who teach at colleges and universities and also conduct research. Key thing, you can always be an academic psychologist and just teach that area in school. So what do sports psychologists do? Sports psychologists typically perform a range of tasks related to sports performance and education. Some opt to teach at the university level, while others work directly with athletes to increase motivation and enhance performance. Other options include client counseling, scientific research, and athletic consulting. In addition to working with professional athletes, sports psychologists also utilize their expertise to increase the mental well-being of non-athletes. They may work with a range of non-professional clients, including children and teens involved in athletics and injured athletes working toward returning to competition. Salary. The pay ranges vary considerably within sports psych based on training, education, and area of specialization. According to 2018 data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, average salary for clinical school and counseling psychologists range between $44,000 to $129,000. The median salary for university facility positions ranges from $60,000 to $80,000. And some top sports psychologists earn six-figure salaries working as consultants for professional athletes, but most earn a more modest yearly income. So, educational requirements. Entry-level positions with a bachelor's degree are rare, usually taking the form of internships. Most positions require a master's or a doctorate degree in clinical counseling or sports psych, as well as direct training and experience in applying psychology to sports and exercise. The American Board of Sports Psychology offers a professional certification for licensed psychologists who want to pursue this specialty. This board certification signifies that the holder has advanced training and experience in sports psychology and is especially aware of ethical, methodological, and research issues associated with the application of methods to enhance the psychological performance of athletes. In order to pursue this certification, applicants must have a doctorate degree and a license to practice in at least one state. Because there are few graduate programs offering specialized degree in sports psychology, it can be difficult to determine what exact combination of training and experience qualifies a professional to be called a sports psychologist. Division 47 of the APA suggests that sports psychologists should be licensed psychologists with experience in applying psychological principles in sports settings. Additionally, extensive educational background and training in sports, motivation management, performance, and athletics are also recommended. And then some pros and cons for sports psychology. Like all careers, sports psych has its advantages and disadvantages. Before you decide if this career is right for you, spend some time learning more about sports psych. Explore your options by taking an introductory course on the subject and weigh your choices carefully before you decide. Some benefits of a career in sports psych. Sports psychologists often work as part of a collaborative team. There are diverse career paths and specialization opportunities, i.e. teaching, youth, and professional athletics training. It can be fun, challenging, and exciting. Some of the downsides for a career in sports psych, though, are the huge emphasis on teamwork may be difficult for somebody who is more independent-minded. It requires extensive education, training, and experience, and opportunities are generally limited for those with only a bachelor's or a master's degree. So, that's everything that we've had to deal with on psychology. Now, to kind of round it all up, for those of you who are interested in psychology, if you want to pursue a career and actually, make a decent living out of it, you're most likely looking at 8 to 10 years of school. 4 for undergrad, and then, a master's doctorate program. You might get your master's and then your doctorate. That way you can, work with your master's and go to school to get your doctorate. Which, to get your doctorate, is generally more research-based, so it's definitely something you can do on your off time if you're working full-time. It's just one of those things that you do have to put a lot of time into it before you'll get a lot out of it. But from everybody I know who has gone through the entire process, as well as what I was studying, it's definitely a field that is diverse enough that you can specialize in such a wide variety of areas that you think that you would most likely be able to find the area that fits best for you. As well as you could probably pretty easily change courses midway. Like, if you think you want to go clinical and then decide, you know what, I like social more, you could still specialize in social. It's just, it looks daunting, but I can promise you it's not as bad as it appears. You just gotta go, and you just gotta do it. Like, I did 3 years of law school, and I can tell you, just looking back on it, at the time, I was thinking, oh my god, I'm going to die. I can remember my 1L year, and it just seemed to just drag. It's done. I graduated. I passed the bar. Just, once you get immersed in something that's interesting to you, time will fly by. My first 2 years of college just dragged by because I was just taking courses I didn't care about. I was just doing things I had to do. But those last 2 years of undergrad just flew by because I was taking courses that interested me. Police and society, psychology things, sociology things. I had an internship with the public defender's office. I took a course on death across the different cultures and religions around the world, going all the way back to Mesopotamia. Like, I got to explore things I was interested in. And once you get to that point in your career with school, like, time is going to just shoot by. So don't judge if you're going to you want to do something just because you see 8 years of school ahead of you. Because I can already tell you went through 12, plus if you did preschool and kindergarten. And things are a lot better in college. And you can easily get rid of 2 of those years by doing community college just to do all prerequisites. English, sciences, math. You can easily knock those things out and then transfer into a regular university. Saves money, saves time. Saves you some sanity. You know? Anyway, I digress. Let's jump into sociology. So what is sociology? Sociology is the scientific study of society, including patterns of social relationships, social interaction, and culture. The term sociology was first used by Frenchman Auguste Comte in the 1830s when he proposed a synthetic science uniting all knowledge about human activity. In the academic world, sociology is considered one of the social sciences. What do sociologists study? Sociologists study all things human, from the interactions between 2 people to the complex relationships between nations or multinational corporations. While sociology assumes that human actions are patterned, individuals still have room for choices. Becoming aware of the social processes that influence the way humans think, feel, and behave, plus having the will to act, can help individuals to shape the social forces they face. So what are the origins of sociology? Sociologists believe that our social surroundings influence thought and action. For example, the rise of the social sciences developed in response to social change. In the 16th and 17th century, Europeans were exploring the world and voyagers returned from Asia, the Americas, Africa, and the South Seas with amazing stories of other societies and civilizations. Widely different social practices challenged the view that European life reflected the natural order of God. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Western Europe was rocked by technical, economic, and social changes that forever changed the social order. So science and technology were developing rapidly. James Watt invented the steam engine in 1769, and in 1865, Joseph Lister discovered that an antiseptic barrier could be placed between a wound and germs, and in that atmosphere to inhibit infection. These and other scientific developments spurred social changes and offered hope that scientific methods might help explain the social as well as the natural world. This trend was part of a more general growth in rationalism. The Industrial Revolution began in Britain in the late 18th century. By the late 19th century, the old order was collapsing under the twin blows of industrialism and revolutionary democracy. Mechanical industry was growing and thousands of people were migrating to cities to work in the new factories. People once rooted in the land and social communities where they farmed found themselves crowded into cities. The traditional authority of the church, the village, and the family were being undermined by the impersonal factory and city life. Capitalism also grew in Western Europe in the 19th century. This meant that relatively few people owned the means of production, such as factories, while many others had to sell their labor to those owners. At the same time, relatively impersonal financial markets began to expand. The modern epoch was also marked by the development of administrative state power, which increased which involved increasing concentrations of information and on power. Finally, there was enormous population growth worldwide in this period due to longer life expectancy and major diseases and child death rates. Major decreases in child death rates. These massive social changes lent new urgency to the development of the social sciences, as early sociological thinkers struggled with the vast implications of economic, social, and political revolutions. All the major figures in the early years of sociology thought about the great transformation from simple pre-literate societies to massive, complex industrial societies. If you really think just how fast technology exploded, it's no surprise that sociology kind of exploded at the same time. Because the culture, the norm, the social stigma all of a sudden rapidly changed. And it's just a time to study how people adapt, how people change, how people cope, how people do everything. So, the institutionalization of sociology. Sociology was taught by that name for the first time at the University of Kansas in 1890 by Frank Blackmore under the course title of Elements of Sociology, where it remains the oldest continuing sociology course in the U.S. The first academic department of sociology was established in 1892 at the University of Chicago, who founded the American Journal of Sociology. The first European department of sociology was founded in 1895 at the University of Bordeaux by Emilie Durkheim. Ooh, Durkheim. Hold up. Let's look up his, experiments. He did a very interesting study, and it was referred to as Le Suicide. This is a classic text in sociology that is widely taught to psychology students. Published in 1897, the book was the first to present a sociological study of suicide, and its conclusion that suicide can have origin in social causes rather just being due to individual temperament, which was groundbreaking at the time. Think about that. In 1897, social scientists were able to determine that people were committing suicide based upon social situations, stigma, interactions. And yet here we are, 123 years later, and we still haven't learned our lesson. The text of Le Suicide offered an examination of how suicide rates at the time differed across religions. Specifically, Durkheim analyzed differences between Protestants and Catholics. He found a lower rate of suicide among Catholics and theorized that this was due to stronger forms of social control and cohesion among them than among Protestants. Additionally, Durkheim found that suicide was less common among women than men, more common across single people than those who are romantically partnered, and less common among those who have children. Further, he found that soldiers commit suicide more often than civilians, and that, curiously, rates of suicide are higher during peacetime than they are during wars. So, correlation versus causation. Suicide's driving forces. Based on Durkheim's gleanings from the data, he argued that suicide can be a result not only of psychological or emotional factors, but also of social factors. Durkheim reasoned that social integration, in particular, is a factor. The more socially integrated a person is, that is, the more he or she is connected to society, possessing a feeling of general belonging and a sense that life makes sense within their social context, the less likely he is to commit suicide. As social integration decreases, people are more likely to commit suicide. Now, if you take a look at that and then compare it to his demographics, it makes sense. Suicide being less common among women than men. If you think about it, men believe that they have a higher stigma in society than women do. because men have to be tough. Men have to be, emotionally detached. Men have to be, making the money. Men have to be all these things that aren't true, especially in today's society. But 123 years ago, that was the normal thinking. And because of all those pressures and the fact that if they were faltering on anything, that they just didn't fit in. And by not fitting in, they start getting detached from society. And then jump to the next one. Suicide is more common in single people than those who have a partner. Once again, society says a man should be married to a woman, So if you're not married, or in other cases, if you're in a, LGBTQ relationship or mindset, you're feeling more detached from the norm, from where you should be if you view society. So therefore, single versus romantically partnered, if you look at it 123 years ago, which LGBTQ would not be socially romantically partnered, so they would be seen as single, that's why those suicide rates are higher. And then, less common with people who have kids. Once again, society says, a man should have a wife and a son and a daughter, or have a kid, something to carry on your legacy. If you don't got that kid, you're not following what is believed to be the social norm. Anything that really says you're not following the norms of society, you are an outlier, you are wrong, you are different. Like, this is what Durkheim was picking up in 1897. And the soldier one also makes sense. Soldiers are more likely to commit suicide in peacetime rather than during war, because soldiers don't have a purpose during peacetime. As well as if it's peacetime and you're an old soldier, you were in war, you've got PTSD, you've got all these issues, you can't detach yourself from that war, you're stuck in your head, You're viewing the world differently than normal people are. Like, anything that causes you to deviate in the slightest from the norm causes you to start to just pull away, get detached, and then you're not integrating into society. So, the more socially integrated a person is, that is, the more he or she is connected to society, possessing a feeling of the general belonging and a sense of life that makes sense within the social context, less likely he or she is to commit suicide. As that social integration decreases, people are more likely to commit suicide. Durkheim developed a theoretical typology of suicide to explain the differing effects of social factors and how they might lead to suicide. So there's anomic suicide, which is an extreme response by a person who experiences anomie, I don't know, a sense of disconnection from society and a feeling of not belonging resulting from weakened social cohesion. Anomie, well, thank you for the host there, Revan. Anomie occurs during periods of serious social, economic, or political upheaval, which results in quick and extreme changes to society and everyday life. In such circumstances, a person might feel so confused and disconnected that they might choose to then commit suicide. Durkheim also looked at the altruistic suicide, which is often a result of excessive regulation of individuals by social forces, such that a person may be moved to kill themselves for the benefit of a cause or for society at large. An example is someone who commits suicide for the sake of religious or political cases. such as the infamous Japanese kamikaze pilots from World War II, or the hijackers that crashed the airplanes into the World Trade Centers, the Paragon, and the field in Pennsylvania. And those social circumstances, people are so strongly integrated into the social expectations and society itself that they will kill themselves in order to achieve collective goals. Then there's the egoistic suicide, which is a profound response executed by people who feel totally detached from society. Ordinarily, people are integrated into society by work roles, ties to family and community, and other social bonds. When these bonds are weakened through retirement or loss of family and friends, the likelihood of an egoistic suicide increases. Elderly people who suffer these losses most profoundly are highly susceptible to this. And finally, there's the fatalistic suicide, which occurs under conditions of extreme social regulation, resulting in oppressive conditions and a denial of the self and of agency. In such a situation, a person may elect to die rather than continue to endure the oppressive conditions, which is the case of suicide among prisoners. Right. Sociologists really look into a lot of different topics that you really wouldn't think about. Durkheim, I studied twice. Once because I took sociology in high school, and then again because I took sociology in college. But there's a lot to really just take in and consider, because if you really think about it, with suicide, the stigma is you're doing it because you are a selfish individual. That's how it's viewed by a lot of people. You're doing it because you are doing the most selfish act in the world. And that's not considering anything. And that's why suicide has such a huge stigma. And that's a reason why, these studies are so important. It's because there's so much behind them that people just never look at, because it's something you don't talk about. It's not something that people want to hear about because they don't want to think about it. And that's why social scientists are so important. Psychologists, sociologists. We need to look at these social factors. It's just, there's just a lot. Anyway, back to what we were doing. The first sociology department to be established in the United Kingdom was at the London School of Economics and Political Science. 1919, a sociology department was established in Germany at the Ludwig Maximilians University of Munich by Max Weber. Let's see. He had a famous sociology experiment. Let's see if I can't find it. Let's see. I think it was this. So this is one of his work was on the Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism, published in 1905. It's been a mainstay of sociological studies since it was first translated into English by Talcott Parsons in 1930s. This text is notable for how Weber merged economic sociology with his sociology of religion, and as such for how he researched and theorizes the interplay between cultural realm of values and belief and the economic system of society. Weber argues in the text that capitalism developed to the advanced stage that it did in the West due to the fact that Protestantism encouraged the embrace of work as a calling from God, and consequentially A dedication to work that allowed one to earn a lot of money. This, combined with a value asceticism of living a simple earthly life devoid of costly pleasures, fostered an acquisitive spirit. Later, as the cultural force of religion declined, Weber argued that capitalism was freed from the limits placed on it by Protestant morals and expanded as an economic system of acquisition. Basically, what he is arguing is because America was founded by Protestants, and the Protestant work ethic is work hard and live a luxury devoid life, we developed a society of constantly working, where you have to work in society in order to achieve anything. And then once Protestantism kind of went away and religion became less important, we stopped we started acquiring goods, material goods. We started valuing wealth. So we worked more to make more, and the more we made, the more we would work. And we've established how well we were doing based upon how much we worked and how much we made when we worked. So he blames the reason that America places so much value on working and not taking time off or anything that's important like that to Protestantism. So you can thank the founders of America for the reason you have to work 40 hours a week and you don't get much time off at all. Thanks to Max Weber for letting us know that. So, let's see. International cooperation in sociology began in 1893 when René Worms founded the Institut International de Sociologie, which was later eclipsed by the much larger International Sociological Association, founded in 1949. In 1905, the American Sociological Association, the world's largest association of professional sociologists, was founded, and in 1909, the Dutch Gesellschaft für Soziologie, the German Society for Sociology, was founded by Ferdinand Tönnies and Max Weber, among others. Sociology is now taught and studied in all continents of the world. Examples from 48 countries in the world that have been collected at McMaster University. So, sociology can be described as all of the following: a study of society, an academic discipline, or a body of knowledge given to or received by a discipline, a field of science, more specifically, the field of social science. So, the essence of sociology is positivism, anti-positivism, structural functionalism, conflict theory, public sociology, social research, social theory, and feminism. If you want me to go into all of these essences, we're going to need another week. Do you want me to go into all of those essences of sociology? If so, we will do those next week. If not, well, we're going to continue on regardless. But, so branches, okay. Then we will go into all of those next week. Let me just quickly grab them so I don't forget. Perfect. Alright, so as you saw last time with psychology over the last 3 weeks, we had some pretty in-depth looks at different branches of psych. Sociology is much different. I have 106 branches of sociology. We can go into every single one in detail if you want me to, or I could just list them off. Same with the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary fields involving sociology. I have probably 50. There's a lot. And it's really just how sociology is applied to different things. Yeah. Right. Let me know if any of these stand out that you would like to know more about. So, the different branches of sociology. There's analytical sociology, applied sociology, architectural sociology, behavioral sociology, Chinese sociology, collective behavior, comparative sociology, computational sociology, critical sociology, cultural sociology, digital sociology, dramaturgical sociology, economic sociology, educational sociology, empirical sociology, environmental sociology, evolutionary sociology, feminist sociology, figurational sociology, historical sociology, humanistic sociology, industrial sociology, internet sociology, interpretive sociology, jealousy sociology, macro sociology, Marxist sociology, mathematical sociology, medical sociology, mesosociology, microsociology, military sociology, natural resource sociology, phenomenological sociology, policy sociology, Polish sociology. The word sociology doesn't look real anymore. Political sociology, psychoanalytic sociology, public sociology, pure sociology, real utopian sociology, rural sociology, social inequality, social psychology, or sociology, sociology of aging, sociology of aging, sociology of agriculture, sociology of architecture. Yes, real utopian sociology. Sociology of arts, sociology of autism, sociology of childhood, of conflict, of culture, of cyberspace, of deviance, of development, of disaster, of education, of emotions, of fatherhood, of finance, of food, of gender, of generations, of globalization, of government, of health and illness, of human consciousness, of immigration, of intersectionality, of knowledge, of language, of law, of leisure, of literature, of markets, of marriage, of motherhood, of music, of natural resources, of organizations, of peace, war, and social conflict, of philosophy, of punishment, of race and ethnic relations, of religion, of risk, of science, of scientific knowledge, of social change, of social movements, sociology, of space, of sport, of technology, of terrorism, of the body, of the family, of the history of science, of the internet, of work, sociography, structural sociology, theoretical sociology, urban sociology, and visual sociology. Those are all the branches of sociology on Wikipedia. 106 of them. So you wanted behavioral, real utopian, of the internet. I'll grab this and this of interest. I'll grab that as well. I'm going to do two things. We might be able to hit a couple of these other ones real quick, though. So, right. And so here are the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary fields that involve sociology as well. Right. So there's agnotology, agrarian studies, anthrozoology, area studies, behavioral economics, communication studies, community informatics, the conflict theory, criminology, critical management studies, cultural studies, demography, developmental studies, disability studies, environmental studies, food studies, future studies, gender studies, geodemography, global studies, gerontology, human ecology, internet studies, leisure studies, political ecology, organizational studies, science, technology and society, social architectural, Social conflict theory, social engineering, social epistemology, social geography, social informatics, social problems, social philosophy, social studies of finance, social theory, sociobiology, socio-cybernetics, sociolinguistics, socio-mapping, sociometry, sociomusicology, systems theory, urban studies, victimology, and world systems theory. These are all different fields that also involve sociology within their study. So the other thing I 100% wanted to hit today is what can you do with a sociology degree? So, students earning a sociology degree study the systems and structures that govern the way humans interact with society, within communities, and with one another. Prospective learners who are interested in the complex forces that keep civilization in balance and the various religious, political, cultural, and ecological factors that can throw that balance into disarray should consider earning a sociology degree. Sociology is the systematic study of society, culture, and group relationships. This page covers sociology degree requirements at multiple levels, plus jobs for sociology majors and potential salaries for graduates. It also examines answers to FAQs, the importance of accreditations, blah, blah, blah. What kinds of sociology degrees are there? Sociology offers diverse employment opportunities that require varying levels of education. The sections below provide information about coursework, program lengths, and professional opportunities associated with the sociology degree level. So, an associate degree in sociology. An associate degree in sociology examines foundational concepts in the field, including social stratification, cultural inequality, and globalization. These programs typically comprise of 60 credits and take 2 years of full-time study to complete. Courses may cover topics like social research, law and society, race and ethnic relations, and social psychology. Graduates may work in correctional facilities, human service organizations, and paraprofessional roles. A bachelor's degree in sociology, which is what I have, a bachelor's in sociology program includes general education, elective, and major requirements. Learners may take classes on topics like interpersonal relationships and families, individual investigation in sociology, and researching society. These programs may also offer concentrations like economic sociology and global development, social data research, sociology of law, and urban sociology. This degree typically comprises of 120 credits and takes 4 years of full-time study to complete, though some programs offer accelerated timelines. This highly interdisciplinary degree qualifies graduates for multiple roles in diverse fields. So what's the difference between a BA and a BS in sociology? Universities may offer 2 types of sociology degrees: a Bachelor's of Arts, a badass degree, or a Bachelor of Science, a BS degree. BS in sociology program focuses more on research theories and methodologies than BA degrees, which concentrates on data collection and analysis. They also typically include more courses focused on the major. In contrast, BA in sociology programs take a more interdisciplinary approach, focusing more on the liberal arts than the BS programs. So a master's degree in sociology. A master's in Soc program provide advanced knowledge and skills, emphasizing quantitative approaches, ethnographic studies, and international research. Courses may include understanding race and ethnic and American society, the politics of algorithms, the changing American city, and social demography. Students can customize their degrees through specialization in areas like gender and sexuality, class and stratifications, or social movements and social change. In addition to coursework, learners often must complete social experiences or a thesis. These programs typically comprise of 60 years and takes 2 years of full-time study to complete. And then a doctoral degree. The terminal degree in the field, a doctorate in sociology, prepares graduates for leadership roles as well as the research and teaching positions. Learners typically focus their studies on a niche area, such as criminology and deviance, or inequalities in gender, race, and ethnicity. These programs usually take 3 to 5 years to complete and require students to research, write, and defend a dissertation. So what can you do with your sociology degree? You can pursue many careers with a sociology degree. Organizations in virtually every industry can benefit from professionals with excellent communication, analytics, and problem-solving skills. Therefore, graduates with a sociology degree qualify for career opportunities in multiple industries. Over 40% of sociology professionals work in research and development for social science and humanities-related organizations. Other common professional environments include educational services organizations and state government facilities. The following list highlights popular industries and careers for graduates with a sociology degree. So, business. A sociology degree gives students analytical, organizational, and research skills that prepare them for roles in business. For example, management analysts work to improve businesses by collecting and organizing information about organizational issues, assessing financial data, and recommending organizational changes. These professionals typically need at least a bachelor's degree. Social and community services. Graduates with a bachelor's in sociology may find sociology jobs as social and community service managers. These professionals engage with community stakeholders to identify and build programs and services that benefit the community. They may oversee administrative tasks and analyze data and recommend program and service improvements. Social and community service managers benefits from strong organizational, communication, and problem-solving skills. The justice system. Graduates with a degree in sociology can pursue roles in the justice system, such as rehabilitation counselor. Rehabilitation counselors assist people within the justice system who are struggling with emotional, mental, developmental, and physical disabilities. They might offer individual and group counseling, develop treatment plans, connect clients with community resources, and maintain client records. This role typically requires a master's degree and a license. There's research. Graduates with a doctoral degree in sociology can pursue research positions as sociologists. Sociologists study community, organizational, and societal structures and how individuals engage in them. They may develop and conduct research projects, collect and analyze data, present research findings at conferences and in publications, and collaborate and listen with relevant stakeholders. And finally, education. Graduates with an advanced degree in sociology can pursue positions as post-secondary educators. These professionals plan lessons, collaborate with department members to develop curricula, and assess student learning. They may also conduct their own research, while students with a master's degree can sometimes find teaching positions at community colleges. Most four-year universities require professors to hold a doctoral degree in their field. So what kind of salary can I earn with a sociology degree? Graduates with a sociology degree can pursue a variety of careers across the industries, blah, blah, blah. Students should note salaries can vary significantly by factors like degree, location, employer, and experience. So typically, the median salary for a management analyst is about $85,000. with the projected job growth from 2018 to 2028 being 14% to grow. Social and community service managers, the median salary is about $67,000 with a 13% growth. Rehabilitation counselors, about $36,000 with a 10% to grow. Sociologists, $83,000 with about a 9% growth, and a college professor at $80,000 with 11% growth. So, yeah. Some frequently asked questions. Why do people study sociology? People who are fascinated by human behavior, diversity, and social changes tend to gravitate toward a degree in sociology, which teaches them how to make a positive impact on communities. Is sociology a hard major? Students who enjoy helping and working with people may find this degree easier than students uninterested in human dynamics. Is it a good major? A sociology major particularly benefits students who are committed to being active and informed citizens who initiate positive changes in society. Are they in demand? The behavior of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics projects that jobs for sociologists will grow 9%, faster than the national average for all occupants. So, yeah. that right there is just a general overview of sociology. When we come back, we'll look into some of those sub areas that you guys found interested, like collective behavior, real utopia, sociology of the internet, sociology of law I pulled for you, as well as digital sociology. And then, of course, we'll look at positivism, anti-positivism, structural functionalism, conflict theories, public social theory, feminism, all this stuff. So look at that. We've got another week of looking into the social sciences. I'd like to thank everybody for dropping in for our little TED Talk today on sociology and psychology. And I will see you all next week as we go to part 4 and focus mostly on sociology. So start consolidating your questions, if you have any, as well as start thinking of some new topics you would like me to cover. Because we're going to jump to something new very, very soon. So, Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you all for listening, tuning in. I'd like you, if y'all would, comment, share this around, Let's spread some knowledge to the world. But, so until the next time, everybody, stay funky, people.